Here. Oh no. I have that app that has the bug.
Yes.
The bug.
Yeah, we talked about this too. So I literally, when I come out to the garden, there's a couple things I bring. And you can water winnow or you can wind winnow. It's always windy here, so if you do this, all the little, and then you'll be left with how many seeds. Wow. Look at how many seeds you get from there.
That's crazy. Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Veronica, this is Theresa.
Hello.
And
we're here at my garden.
Yes.
We're going to be taking a tour today in Palmdale. We're in Palmdale. It's a nice hot summer day, and so I'm going to show you what we got going on.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll start here, and actually I kind of want to show you guys around. I love to do the whole cycle of things, so I'm going to take you through some of the things. Some of the things you'll see, like we'll have the whole cycle, like onions, and then I'll show you kind of like what I do to get through the full cycle of my harvest.
Okay.
So, right here, we'll start here.
Yeah.
I have this gated off because we do have animals, and so gated this off.
A clever idea. I love it.
My husband's very handy.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
he puts up with me and does this stuff for me. But we have strawberries here. I have asparagus here. My family loves asparagus, so a lot of the things that I plant, it's because we like it. We'll eat it. So we kind of start off with that.
Right.
But I put these together because they like to be together.
Right.
So we put those together. Once in a while, I'll put some other flowers. You'll see some cilantro down here.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of companion planting, putting things together that like each other.
Yeah.
So strawberries out here in the front too.
And which they'll probably spread and fill your whole bed over here.
Yeah. So that's part of the cycle too. Like, so I will take this strawberry through the full cycle. We'll let it fruit. Sometimes I'll take the strawberries with the seeds and I will just smash them into the dirt to try to get them to grow again, or take the runners. And I know you showed me this too. Clip the runners off and then stick them into the dirt, and then they'll start to root.
Yes.
And so then I'll plant it again the next season. So yeah, lots of asparagus.
A lot of asparagus.
Yes.
Can't wait to see how they just multiply, you know.
Yes, and asparagus is time consuming. This is the third year they've been here.
Right.
They take about 3 years before you get a good harvest.
Right.
So it does take patience, and we love it so much. I've got so much of it.
Yeah.
So I can harvest a good amount.
It's very good, a good size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have our little lemon tree. We have yet to get it to fruit. I'm believing in it.
It's doing good. It's holding on. Yeah.
It looks happy. No, okay, so this looks dead. My husband always, I take him through and he's like, oh, you need to take that out. No. Can you hear that?
It's the seeds?
It's the seeds. So this is arugula. Look at that, already falling out.
Okay.
It's arugula, and so I collect the seeds from this.
Nice.
So I let it get dry like this. I want it to do that because I like to collect the seeds from that.
Right.
So,
and that's how easily it spreads, right?
Yeah. Oh,
because of that. Yeah.
Yes. You saw it just cracked and then they love to grow.
Yes.
And then I have some sunflowers here. I'm working on this. This was just a fun project. I did a lot of pruning on my fruit trees, and so I had all the extra branches.
I love it.
Yeah, I do. It's fun.
Yeah, I always look at my branches and think like, oh, what can I do with them? But this is cool. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have some irrigation here too, so I thought let's just put that in there. Get some sunflowers. Sunflowers are so beautiful.
Did you planted these?
I did. Okay. I did. And these are actually from seeds that I collected from last year's sunflowers. Okay. So, right. And then we have over here, this is one of my newer beds. This is one of the squash I got from you.
Right.
So I planted it in there. I have it with irrigation. I have a drip to it, a little drip line to it right here.
This is the first time I'm growing this too. So I have never seen it, you know, like it kind of reminds me of a pumpkin. Yes. But it's actually a round zucchini. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. And it looks just like pumpkin.
Right.
Looks just like it.
Yeah, I can't wait to taste it. Can't wait to see what it
is. And I don't have a lot of flowers out here right now, except for this one. And so a lot of times I'll come out here and check on the flowers. Oh, okay. So like this one is open.
Right.
This is actually a male flower, and you can see because it doesn't have the round part.
Right.
And so sometimes I'll take that and I'll help pollinate one of the female flowers. I don't have a female flower.
You can also tell by the inside of it.
Yes.
How it
just has one little thing sticking up. And the female flower will have like 4 of them sticking up.
Oh yeah, well that's it.
So a lot of times I'll come out here and pollinate them because there is not a lot of bees out here because there's not a lot of flowers right here. So
looks good.
And then on this side, these are my pumpkins. too. I put a bunch in here. I put a couple sunflowers with it too because of the pollinators. Once everything is blooming, the bees will be alerted that there is stuff to pollinate.
Right. I just started my seeds. They're in the greenhouse and they all popped up. So
yeah,
hopefully,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then we also talked about places to sit.
Right.
Like it's really shady right here in the morning, and so once it gets really hot, I can come over here, set my stuff down, and just watch the garden and look at it. And it's so beautiful. In the morning too, it's so beautiful.
Have your coffee.
Oh, yes. One of my favorite things to do. So, and then this is my irrigation line too. So I have, this is where my water comes from. And then I've just tapped into my hose bib here.
Okay.
And then this water line runs all the way through and irrigates.
And from there you break it up to your different.
And then I have all my lines running to them.
Very good.
So then in the morning I can just come and I do this. And everything's watered. Easy.
Easy.
Yeah. And the same thing with this one.
Right.
I have
that
everything.
one goes that way. Okay.
Yeah. Everything except for some of the new ones I put in. I don't have it here, but I can just come in, I turn that on, and then all of my irrigation, my drip irrigation runs to all of my beds. So super easy.
Right.
Really nice once you have a lot of stuff growing.
I know.
Or if you need help, like we went away for a weekend and I need my kids to help me. They're not gonna
they're not gonna water the way we water, right?
No. So if I can say just turn it on, come back in 10 minutes, and then we're good. So it helps with that too. Yeah. And then I have my bed here. This is just a small bed. I'm experimenting with sweet potatoes.
Oh, okay.
So I got a lot of help from garden friends. Like, what do I do? What have you done? I started some sweet potato slips, which just means you take a potato and put it in some water. You let the leaves grow, and then you take those leaves off. They're called slips. And then you plant them.
These are your sunflowers, and then your
and my sweet potatoes are here, right here.
Right.
So this was really small. This was only about 2 or 3 leaves.
Right.
And now it's kind of growing. There is something in here. You can see the evidence of something in here eating it.
I think maybe the grasshoppers.
Yes,
it kind of that's what it looks like to me.
I have grasshoppers. I also have
the little leaves.
I also have those beetles, those black darkling beetles.
Yeah, so, I just saw one. But do you think those are the ones that are biting on your leaves?
They were there, so I don't know. I was trying to watch them to see if they were actually eating it, but I couldn't tell. This is also sweet potatoes too.
Okay.
So I just didn't have enough in here, so I added some dirt to one of these. And I noticed you reuse a lot of things too. These are from the trees that I planted.
Right.
Oh look, there's one. See it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Little guy. So this might be.
That one I won't touch.
they do have a grip. They do have a grip for sure. We'll let him go. Okay, so this you won't recognize until maybe you look at the stem.
It's not parsley? Oh no, it's celery.
Celery, yeah. So I grew some celery, and then I know one of the things you say that's hard for you to do is to cut things. My hardest thing is to not cut things. So it's really hard for me to not cut it. So I harvested a bunch of it, and then I purposely left some of it so that I can get it to flower.
Right.
And then these will be the seeds for next year.
Oh, okay. But did you harvest any to eat?
I did.
Yeah? Okay.
I did. I got like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, I think I remember you and the farm stand having some.
So I let those go, and like I said too, not only is this like going to give me seeds, but this is also attracting the pollinators for when I need them for my pumpkins, when my pumpkins come in.
Do you think they're going to self pollinate, like
they might
themselves?
They might. I haven't grown the seeds. I actually got the seeds from somebody that I planted, and so this is my first year letting this go to seed. So we'll see if I have a harvest, a forest of celery. We'll know. So I have 8 different beds, and something I tried this year is doing a rotation. So I try to really keep my soil healthy, and one of the ways you can do that is companion planting, and another way you can do that is by rotating the kinds of plants you put in there. So for example, this one has a lot of leaf stuff last season. So I had spinach. This is my spinach that's going to seed. I had lettuce. This is my lettuce that's going to seed. Isn't this cool?
Yeah, it is.
I would never know that lettuce looked like this.
Right.
Look at that beautiful flower, right?
Yeah.
And so that will go to seed. So a lot of lettuce and leaves stuff in here,
correct,
which doesn't take too much nutrients.
Right.
And then I'm moving, I'll move it to this one.
Moving over
and then
to another bed.
And then I have legumes in here. So legumes are really good at putting nutrients back in the soil. So once those are in there, I can put the leaves in there, and then I can put root vegetables in there, and then I'll put fruits in there. And the fruits are the ones that take the most nutrients out. And then we'll recycle that too. So just keep everything moving so the soil doesn't get depleted from nutrients. But and then you know what this is.
Oh, the tomatillo.
Yes.
Did you plant it there or did it?
Oh, okay. I did. Okay. So I have a bunch of tomatillos here. Nothing fruiting yet, but lots of flowers, lots of leaves.
Just kill these little eggs.
All the pests.
And
I had a ton. I know you said too, you had a ton of ladybugs this year.
Oh yeah. You know what? I haven't seen them lately, but at the beginning of spring, they were out, like a bunch of them.
Yes. I do have a bunch with my cabbage because the cabbage did get aphids, and so they're happily feasting on the aphids. So
what I found.
What did you find?
A worm.
Oh, that's a caterpillar.
Caterpillar.
I wonder what kind that is.
I wonder. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah. Here. Oh no. I was gonna look it up with my phone. I have that app that has the bug.
Yes.
The bug.
Yeah, we talked about this too. So I literally, when I come out to the garden, there's a couple things I bring. One is my phone, so I can look everything up. And
do you have the bug one?
Oh, I have iNaturalist, iSeek. I'll do that one usually.
I have the picture insect. I don't know. Let's see.
And it's usually pretty good. A couple of times there's things that it hasn't identified, but or sometimes I'll pull it up and I'm moving it around and it picks up on something that I don't even see.
Yeah,
there's a bug.
This one's a hard one because it's a wing moth.
So some sort of
it's
moth.
A moth.
Yeah. So some sort of moth.
Are those bad for your garden?
They can be. There's some bugs offer different benefits and drawbacks. So, for example, moths can pollinate, but they also will eat what's there. So,
So, do you know what that is?
I personally, yes.
So we could eat that, and that actually is like a weed. I mean, it comes out by itself. So this. Yeah, I didn't know that until one day my uncle came and said he saw it, and he said, well, he called, there's another name in
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah.
But yeah, alcelgas.
Okay.
And then he's like, oh yeah, we eat that, and I'm like, oh, you do? And I'm like, okay.
So how do you eat it?
I looked it up. I think they just cook it like with tomato and onions, kind of like a stir fry type of thing.
And it's a succulent. It's almost that like texture of like nopales, maybe.
Kind of. I think so.
That, like,
yeah, I have never ate it, but this year I am because it popped up in one of my beds. Yeah, and it's clean and it's so I will eat. I'm gonna try it this year. And they said it's really good. It has a lot
really
of benefits.
Good for you too.
Right.
And it's so funny because I'll look up some of this stuff too, and some of this stuff that's just popping up and volunteering in my garden is way better for me than the stuff I'm actually growing.
Right.
Like what and we're pulling this stuff out and throwing it in the trash.
Right. How do you guys for the people that don't know, like how do those things even pop up?
Yeah,
so sometimes it's like I have a lot of birds that come through, right? So birds when they drop, their droppings, it'll be in there if they've eaten from it. Right. Wind, a lot of times things will come in through the wind. So for example, my neighbor had hollyhocks, and that's how I got hollyhocks. So either the wind or a bird came through and dropped it in there. But yeah. The other thing I do is if I don't like it, or if sometimes there's just too much of it, I pull it out and I'll give it to my chickens, and then I get to eat it by eating their eggs. Right. So I still get the nutrients, but I don't have to eat all of it that's there too. So
I have a question. How do you guys prevent bugs from your garden? Is there any way to prevent bugs, or like does everybody's garden have bugs, or can you garden with no bugs?
I enjoy my bugs. I do know, like you were asking about the bad ones, the ones that are doing things that I don't want them to do, but I do. So for example, aphids are one that I really don't want in my garden. I still have them in here. I'll show you. I've even got like this cabbage here has aphids, and I've left them because they're food for my ladybugs.
Right.
And they feed my ladybugs. And so if I take them out, the ladybugs won't come. And so the next year when I have aphids again, because I will have them, the ladybugs will not ready to come back because they don't think there's going to be
any food.
So I want the ladybugs to come, eat them, lay their eggs, and let next year's bugs come. So there's going to be bugs, and that's how I feel. But I do try to. I will pull some of these out. I feed them to the chickens. The bugs that I don't want, the darkling beetles that are eating some stuff. I also throw them to my chickens. But those darkling beetles are also decomposing stuff in my garden. So, or even this moth that's flying by. That moth that's flying by is actually lays an egg that will produce a caterpillar that will eat my cabbage, actually, and that's what this is. So that pretty little white moth going around is laying the larva that made this. So I don't like that, but that little butterfly that's going around is also pollinating a lot of my stuff too. So, you know, the good, bad bug thing, you just have to have balance.
Yes.
You just have to have balance.
Right.
Is there anything that you do particularly?
No, the same thing. Before at the beginning, I would be devastated to see like a grasshopper or like any kind of bug. But now I accept that they're there, and I know that if it's bad bugs, then I'm gonna get the good bugs in. So it works out. It works out, and like we said, we plant a little more than expected, because some will make and some won't. But I was looking at your your cabbage, right?
Yeah, my cabbage. So like I was saying, like everything goes through a cycle. So this is actually the cabbage that I would harvest. So it has a nice tight head, and I would cut that. And we were talking too about when I take it out, I don't pull it out. I cut it and I'll leave the roots in there. So we talked about feeding the soil. Those roots stay in there. They'll decompose all those bugs in there. We'll decompose it, add nutrients to the soil, so then I can take that out. But once it gets a little past this, if I leave it, and I try to leave the best ones in there, that's really hard to do.
The
best looking ones is the ones I want the seeds from.
I don't know. I can't do that.
So I'll try to leave the best ones in there.
Yeah, like all that celery that you left in there. Oh my gosh,
so hard, but I was out of seeds, so I needed seeds. So, but then it'll go kind of to this stage where it's kind of like getting a little taller. Then it'll go to this stage where it had a flower like this. And then once the flower goes away, it has this nice long seed pod, and I will leave it in there until it dries out. So this is actually my radish. This one's starting to dry out, but once it gets really dry, kind of like the arugula we saw over there, then I will start cracking these open, collecting the seeds. So
very nice.
Yeah.
So now I know where to come for seeds.
Yes. And look, carrot seeds. I have all kinds.
Oh, yes.
Cilantro. And they'll call that coriander. So this is also going to seed.
Nice.
So this is wonderful too. So this is cilantro. You cut it before it goes to the flowers. That's when it tastes the best. But if you leave it, it'll have this beautiful flower, which attracts.
But you can still eat it, right?
You can still eat it. You can still eat the flower. It just tastes the best when it's with that leaf. But this will attract all those pollinators. You can even see a couple little teeny tiny bees going around it, and then it'll go to the little ball here, and then it'll be here dried. And this not only can you plant, but you can then take that, grind it, and it's a spice. It's coriander, and this is really good for like seasoning meat. Yeah, really good, really flavorful too. Or then you can just go like that, and then
I need to start doing letting it dry. I have such a hard time doing this, but I need to. Yeah.
And it's hard too, because then when somebody comes to look at your garden, it looks like it's dead.
Right.
But for me, I'm like, yes, seeds. And then I was going to show you this one too. Like this is how I actually do my seeds. So I'll take a bucket, especially if there's a lot of them. I'll take a clean bucket, and then I'll take a couple of these.
And what's this?
This one is arugula, I believe.
Arugula, right.
And so, you know, I could come and pop each one individually, but that takes forever. So I just go like this, and you can see all the seeds going in there. I'll usually do this with gloves too. It is a little prickly. And then I'll...
Do you get anything popping up over here, like on the ground?
Yes, I will. Sometimes I'll take it if I don't want the seeds to fall. I'll take it somewhere else, like over a bed that I do want them to grow.
Right.
And do like that. And then once I've done all that, I'll take this, and I've got a bowl like this. So I'll take a bowl like this, and I'll do what's called winnowing. And you can water winnow, or you can wind winnow. This one is wind winnowing. So it's always windy here. So if you do this, all the little dry parts will fly away, and then you'll be left with just the seeds. And if it's not windy, it's not too windy today, so and you can see it slowly becoming just seeds.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you're just left with just the seeds. And look how many seeds. Wow. Look at how many seeds you get from there.
That's crazy.
And then I just take that, I put them in packets. You keep them cool, you keep them dry. You keep them in a dark place, and they will last a long time. And because they grew right here, they're used to this. Like you have that tree that somebody gave you that's doing way better than any of the ones you bought at the box store, because they're used to this. They're adapted to this,
to our climate.
Growing. Yeah, they like it here. So I'm gonna stick these in the shade. So yeah, so it's not dead. It is full of life.
Yeah,
It's next year's garden.
Right.
And then tomatoes. Lots of tomatoes. I companion planted here too. So in between the tomatoes, you'll see I do have an amaranth in there. This one is amaranth
and
here.
This one?
This one's a zinnia.
A zinnia.
So flowers that will attract pollinators, more pollinators. The purslane again is in there.
Wow. And you didn't plant it.
I didn't plant it. It planted itself. It volunteered. And then I have basil. So I have a ton of this in between. I've heard that basil makes the tomatoes taste better.
Okay.
But
I always planted it with my tomatoes with basil.
Yeah. It smells wonderful.
Basil goes perfect with tomatoes.
That's right. See? And I always think that a lot of the things that you plant together are the things that you would cook together.
Right.
Cabbage and carrots.
Right.
Those are cooked together a lot.
Right.
Basil and tomatoes. Right? Like it just goes
never
together.
thought of that. Yeah.
So yeah, lots of tomatoes here. Okay, so I've got my hollyhocks here. There's a bee in here even. Don't want to disturb it. This is so good for pollinators. Yes. And so this actually volunteered.
Oh, nice.
Probably from my neighbors, maybe from mine. But this just gets so beautiful and so dramatic. Look at it. It's like it's creating shade over here for me too. Pollinators. It's a beautiful cut flower too. I use them for bouquets and stuff, like for cut flowers. You can eat them too. They're edible. I don't necessarily like them, but they look really cool. Like if you want to put it on a cake, or even like in a bathtub with bubbly water.
Now,
like a rose, you know?
With this one, because I have two. So one of them's already like, it seems like it's done flowering and it's dying. Is that what it does? Or am I just not watering enough?
I think they last like 2 years and then they're done. But because they're really good at seeding themselves, you'll get them all the time. So like your sunflowers, you just let it go, and then boom, you have more the next year. So and they have a lot of different colors. So mine are kind of in the pink range, and then I have one that is almost like a black color, and then one that's like a really deep red. Beautiful. So you never know what you're going to get with the colors, but lots of colors in there too. And then this is amaranth. This is cool. Okay, so this one is a flower. It's a flower, and I've researched it too. This is also edible, but it reminds me, when it gets nice and big, it reminds me of like a Dr. Seuss kind of like you know, truffle-a-tree kind of thing. And sometimes they get purple. These ones get a little purple, but some of them stay this color, but they have lots of different colors. But this one, when it goes to seed, I do the same thing. I kind of like just rub it in my hands, but the seed, we talked about this too on your tour. You can use it for like almost like a popcorn. So you pop it like popcorn, little mini. Or you
can't wait to do that.
Yes, you can use the seed and grind it like a flour. You can also just throw it in with like your breads, like you would like a poppy seed or something like that, and then eat it.
So
that
make
way.
sure you guys come back and see that, because we're gonna do that.
Yes,
we gotta do that.
You'll see that. That's fun too. Potatoes. I have also potatoes in here. Oh, okay. So I saw your potatoes. Mine are like huge. See?
Yeah. They're
mine
good.
Floured already. Okay. Popping up.
But not ready yet, right? No.
Not ready. Oh, well, I'm
until I think it says the plant starts to die.
Yeah, and I think you can take them out. Like you had some of yours that were already there, but the bigger you want them, the longer you want to let them to be in there.
I think when I was telling my husband about it, he said maybe because I had it in that black container and it was, you know, like maybe it just got too hot in there or something.
Oh, yes.
And then maybe that's why they thought, okay, we're done.
Yes.
We need to get out of here.
Too hot. And then more arugula seeds that I'm going to be collecting soon. And then this one, I've started putting some of my legumes in. So this is a bean that I put in here. Beans are really easy too. If you want something easy, sunflowers and beans. The seed is big. They sprout really quickly. I love this one. And they're so good for the soil.
My goodness. And look at your onions.
Okay, so this is, I usually take things through the full cycle with onions. So I got some onion seeds from a fellow gardener because I love trading seeds. And these are some of these are from her seeds. These are, some of these I think are from just like the grocery store, and I just planted them in there.
Okay.
But so the trick with onions is once you plant them, they're gonna grow. Now this part right here, this kind of thick, you can see this one, these ones, these I had snapped it off because it was starting to grow the flower, and I didn't want the flower. I wanted the onions on these ones. I do have a couple of onions in here that I let go. But and I'll pull one out. So this one, yeah. Now I did notice this is the first time I've grown it for the bulb. I usually grow it for the seed only. I noticed when I let this go to even to this stage, it kind of got a little funky. So the bigger that
but it's firm.
Yeah, it's still edible, still good. And I'll pull them out when it's dry. So I didn't water this morning because I knew I was going to pull these out. Pull them out. I clip the edges, and then I take this, and I've got my shed over there. I could show you too. I leave that on a drying rack. Let this completely dry. Once it's completely dry, I cut that off, and then you can store it. It'll store longer. You can actually eat it like this. My son was asking me the other day, like, why'd you have to do all that? You don't actually have to do all that.
It's just for storing.
It's for storing. It'll store much longer. So the ones that I do want to eat, I can just eat right away. But the ones that I want to keep, I keep that on, dry it fully, and then cut that off. So, and then this is why I have this over here too. I'll just, when I harvest, I can just set all my
just leave them out here.
And it's nice and open too. So when I harvest my carrots, if I need to wash them off, I can get the hose, wash them off really easily. My onions, I can just set out there too.
Let them.
Yeah. Over here too, I have a bunch of carrots. So this is carrots. Oh, I have some sort of bee or wasp right here too.
Yeah.
So we talked about bugs. Like the carrots are like buzzing with all, like I can see like 3 different bugs right now, just right here. We have a hoverfly there. We have some sort of, I'm not sure, wasp or something.
It's like a baby wasp.
Yeah, all different kinds of, I don't know what that is. Some little teeny bee, I don't know. But this carrot, I know you were asking about like what this is, right? Because you don't usually see this part of the carrot. You don't even see the leaf usually.
Yeah, I don't, because like I said, I don't do this. I want to harvest everything like any. But so you gotta sacrifice. And you know, like I said, I leave the best one. So what I'll do is, once I see, so this is the leaf of the carrot. Once I see, I'll kind of come down and I'll go, okay, and I feel at the base of the carrot. You can kind of see one right here too. I'll kind of feel around to see, is that a big nice carrot that I want to get? Yes, that's good. Okay, don't pull it. And then I'll let it go to I'll
flower.
be a good parent.
Yes. And then this, like I said, this, look, every one of those little tiny like, there's like, just in this right here, there's like 20 seeds. Just in that little piece. Right. And this is all of next year's carrots for sure. Yeah. And I've got so many of them, right, to share with you.
Thank you.
When you need seeds.
I can't wait. Yeah, you need to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Is that part of gardening? Like you sacrifice the whole season to get more seeds?
Not everybody does. Some people will buy seeds.
Right.
But I really love the process of collecting. Here's what I really love doing it. First of all, I'm cheap, and so it's free. Yeah. Like I don't need to buy any more seeds because I already have them. But the seeds are also so much better because they've grown here, and because I've selected ones that have characteristics that I like. Either they're really long, or they didn't flower as fast, or whatever characteristic I'm looking for. Those seeds will do so much better. Or even this, for example, like this is also cabbage. You saw the cabbage over there, it had a ton of aphids. This one doesn't have a lot, and I actually had a bunch of cabbage that was like just infested with aphids. Like it didn't do very well. But for whatever reason, this one is strong, and for whatever reason it was able to resist all those pests and all those diseases. And so the seeds will also have those characteristics. They'll be able to resist that, and they'll grow better. So the more that I grow the seeds, the better I get for each season. And you know, then I kind of share. You don't want to just collect from one plant. You don't want to also just get one plant every season. It's good to have a variety, right? Just like when you have dogs, you don't want inbreeding. You can inbreed with seeds too, but not everybody does that, but I really enjoy it because I get so much better seeds and it's cheap. So yeah. Oh, and then look, okay, last one here, onions. So this is what an onion would look like in the very beginning, and you can pull these, and I'll pull one too here, right? And even when it's even smaller than this, you can use this for green onions, right? This would be green onion. You can cook that up. You can cut it up and use the chives, and you could eat it like that, or you let it go and get bigger.
Or you could just grill the whole thing.
Grill the whole thing. You let it get bigger, or then you can let it go all the way to seed. And the seed looks something like this. It'll have just one, and it'll get a nice little seed like that too. So yeah, onions too. So this is going to be my fruiting bed. So I have a bunch of zucchini in here.
This is not
that's carrot too.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, so I got a couple carrots that are finishing up in here, and then as the carrots come out, the zucchini will fill in the space. I do have a couple peppers in here too. They go well together too, so I have that in there too. My new adventure is growing flowers for like flowers. I usually have flowers because I'm collecting the seeds, but this is purely for flowers. So I've tried a couple things. I've done a lot of sunflowers, but I tried a new one this year. It has that beautiful red color. Got like brown and orange. So those are my new sunflowers. And these are so easy to grow, like I said. They grow fast, they are strong. And then I will also let these go to seed. And you eat them, right? More. Sunflowers.
Yeah.
You eat sunflower seeds. So, and then if not, you could also, I feed them to my chickens. Chickens love this too. You can just cut the head off.
Oh, my goats love it.
Your goats too?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Sunflowers is like the...
Do you just cut the head off and throw it to them?
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Stem, they'll eat it, yeah. Just like the gopher.
Yep. And then even once I cut we talked about this too, once I cut the sunflower, I will leave this
to break down
in there. Soil. And then also it also provides like a habitat for some of the bees. So some of the plants that have these like stems like this, a nice thick stem, bees will come in here and create a little home. This like not like you think of like a honeybee, but like solitary bees. They'll create a little house in there too, so it'll be a little habitat for them too. This is yarrow. This is new for me too. So yarrow, look, it loves it here. This has a flower too. This is all that I've experienced with it, so it does like it.
How did you get that the seed? I mean, is that the one?
So you had started that, gave that to me, and then I had put in. I did put my own seeds. I actually put my own seeds in here, and I don't think any of those came up. So the ones that you had started for me.
I don't have no idea what happened to mine.
Yeah.
They're lost in the garden somewhere. Because I haven't seen that. Or maybe I did and I thought it was a weed and hopefully I didn't pull it.
Yes. And that's another thing too, especially because like the way we plant, right? We just put things in there and hope that it starts.
Right.
Sometimes I'll let things go. I don't know what it is, and I'll just let it go if I don't recognize it.
Right. Because it could be a flower.
It could be a flower, or it could be something like the purslane, something that you just don't know about yet, you know? And then even, okay, so these are my volunteer tomatoes. I think they're Roma, and they're kind of little like you had.
Right.
And I didn't plant any of these tomatoes. So this one, That's nice. I've got this
I haven't
one.
had that happen yet.
No? This one.
Not tomatoes. Yeah.
I've got a bunch over here, there. I've got one here. So none of those I've planted, but they're happy. So
yeah, they look good.
I just leave them there. And this is another one I've tried. This one is kind of it's related to the marigold, or it's a type of marigold. This is calendula.
Oh, okay.
And this is I'm using it as a cut flower, but it's also used for like medicinal stuff. Like people use it in their like cosmetics kind of stuff. You can dry it, crush it. It smells beautiful. It's kind of like a citrusy.
Right. And this is a perennial, right? Because they'll come back next year. Or is it an annual?
I think it's an annual, but just like the sunflowers and stuff, they self-seed really good.
And I think next year they'll just probably even get taller. I think they get stronger.
Yeah. So that's my experiments, flowers this year. And I have the bucket here because I do this.
Yeah.
And whatever I need to pull or whatever I need to do, I have the bucket.
Right.
And I can just sit here.
Yeah.
So that's nice too. And then this was my original garden. So one of the things I tell people who are starting out, it's so overwhelming. Like all this information even is like way too much for a beginner, right? Pull something that we said, use it. Right. But start small. So this was actually these two beds were my starting beds. And then my son built me two more. And I outgrew those, and then I have this. But just start with one. Right. One or two. Right. And put some stuff in the ground and see what happens. And it might fail. It's probably going to fail. Yes. Right?
Yes. I'm on my, I mean, I've been gardening for, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years, but the first 2 years were, they were
terrible.
Hard. Yeah, and especially because I would go, like I would just plant one, or two of something, and then of course the bugs would come or whatever, gopher, and I would be, devastated. But I continue. Even with the corn, I still keep trying and trying. Last year I had a better harvest than the year before, and hopefully this year I have a even better harvest than the year before. So that's the way it works.
Yeah, you just learn as you go. But start small,
right,
and then build it up from there.
Right. But don't give up. Just keep going.
One of the things too I try to do is like keep throughout the season, right? Like always constantly have something in the garden. That's one of my newest goals that I'm kind of getting along. So this is part of that. So I have a bunch of different trees. I have a lot of stone fruit. So because of our weather, because it's really hot since we do get a little bit of freeze, you can have a lot of different kind of stone fruits. So I think anything with that big seed in it, like a peach, a plum, apples do really well. But we do get that really hot, those extremes, really hot in the summer, 100 plus, and then
a couple freezes.
Yeah, maybe. A couple freezes. Right. Not too hard, but you get down in the 20s sometimes. So we do get that. But
where's my favorite tree?
It's the smallest tree here too.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
oh my goodness. I love. I can't believe that. I literally imagined in my head that it was going to be this big old tree. These are like the best.
Yes.
Peaches.
Yes.
Oh, so they're so good.
It's a peach, but it's called either a Saturn peach or a donut peach. They're kind of flat, but super sweet.
Yeah. Can't wait.
So this is what.
Oh my! This is it. It's giving you so many.
Yeah. Yes. Look at it. Look at it. It's like
right. Yeah.
But this tree is probably small because I used to have a huge pine tree.
Oh, okay.
A huge pine tree that shaded this, and you can even see that there's more leaves on this side than this side.
Right.
And so I think because of that, that first year it just didn't need a lot of sun and didn't grow very big.
Okay.
And so I've been working on my pruning skills. That's my next adventure too, is with pruning.
Right. And then I kind of heard also that when you have 3 here, you pull 1, and then you just let that one,
and get big.
They get bigger. Well, thank you, Teresa, for letting us come and visit your farm, your garden, and I love everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Love it. And you guys, just subscribe, watch us. You know, we're going to be visiting a couple gardens and learning from each other. Yeah. So, welcome and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next.
See you on the next one.
Yeah. Bye.